Hey there, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me. I have another layout for you today, and this one's for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2016 March Hip Kits again. And I'm also using one of Nicole's cut files. In her cut file set this month, she's got several different designs, and I chose to use this really cute flower. So I traced it in my Silhouette software and then duplicated it a few times and made them different sizes so I could create a nesting effect. And I printed out my picture. I wanted to put it behind the smallest flower, and I actually printed my photo a little bit too small. And so when I fit it underneath this flower, the top petal and the bottom petal were just a little bit too short. And so I sliced off some of the photo on the left since there was a lot of greenery there, and I just stuck it to the top and the bottom of the picture, and you can't even really tell. I just didn't want to print it again. So next time I will print it a little bit larger. But anyway, you can't really tell. So this is kind of the design I'm going for, the nesting flowers, I guess you could say, and the picture in the middle. And a lot of these papers are the exclusives. I think all of these papers are from the exclusives this month, and they are so awesome. Kim Watson designed them, and they're just awesome. I love every single one of them. I'm going to go with this side for my background, and I'm going to start with some white gesso, mainly because I wanted to kind of make the center of the layout or the background white. And so I'm going to go over it again here with some white acrylic paint. I'm going to be adding some of the Shimmers products here in a minute, and I wanted the mixed media to show through the petals of the flowers, and so that's kind of what I'm prepping the paper for here. So now that I've got it dry, you can still see the edges. I like kind of whiting out the middle of the page and leaving the edges open where you can still see the design. And I'm going to use several of the Shimmers products, and this is the aqua hues that we got this month, the really pretty bright yellow color. It's called Crazy Daisy, and I'm just doing the packaging technique. I do this quite a lot. I know a lot of you do it too. It's fun and an easy way to get color on your paper. Now I'm going to use the Lemon Drop Dazzlers, and I think those were last month. The last month's color kit, maybe the one before, I can't remember. We've been getting a lot of Shimmers lately, so if you've been getting the last several months, then you probably have these products as well. And this is actually a texture paste, but I'm going to treat it here as paint, and I just smudged some on my plastic, added some water, and as you can see, it's a lot thicker than any of the other paints because it's a texture paste, but if you water it down enough, you can still use it like I'm doing here. And this is kind of thick, but I like the texture that it's giving. It's kind of bumpy on the paper because I actually put a lot of texture paste on that plastic. So I'm going with all these bright springy colors that are in the papers, yellows, blues, pinks, which are usually the colors that I gravitate toward. They're my favorite. We also got this a couple months ago. This is another Shimmers product. This is an actual Shimmers paints. This is one of the original Shimmers paints that they came out with years ago, and it's very thick, and when you get it, it's already mixed up. You just have to stir it. It's very thick, very, very sparkly. It's almost like glitter is blended into this paint, and when it dries, it's super sparkly. So it's pretty thick, so I want to water it down a little bit, and I just want to add some pink to this background. And you know, I'm kind of going random here because I've got a lot of cut file that's going to go on top of this background, and so it's going to look like a hot mess here in a minute, like I'm just splattering stuff around, and I really am, but when it's covered up, it looks different, if that makes any sense. I'm going to use my brush here and just do a little bit more of a watercolor look, and I made sure that the yellow was dry because I did not want to create an orange color. So and I'm also using my brush here in a lot of areas where the yellow is not, so it kind of breaks it up, and that's the key I've found to doing the packaging technique like this with a lot of colors, is definitely make sure the first color is dry and try to keep them a little bit separate if they don't blend well. Alright, so I did not have a royal blue color Shimmers product to use for this, so I'm going to come in with some gelatos, and these are two different shades of blue, and they match that blue pattern paper really, really closely. And so I just scribbled the gelato on this plastic piece, added some water, smudged it together, and flipped it over. Anybody can create a background like this. It really is no rhyme or reason. I find this extremely therapeutic. If you like to get messy and you don't want to have a fear of messing up, you just want to go for it, then try the packaging technique. It's fun. And again, I'm trying to use some of the blue where there is no color, so it's, kind of its own color, and it doesn't have to compete with another color and mixing together. Even some of it's going to mix, but it's not, I don't want it to blend to make green. And it's really not, because the texture paste is dry, and it's a texture paste, so it's not going to run. But, when you're mixing colors and you're mixing product, make sure that each color's dry. Now, this is something we got almost a year ago, I think, in one of the color kits. This is the Dilutions, and I can't remember the name of it. Let me look. London Blue. I think this was in a hip kit. It's super, super bold and blue. And I just wanted to add just another touch of blue, so I'm just going to use that, add a little bit of water, and smudge it around a little bit. Now, the fact that I added the gesso and the white acrylic paint first is really helping this pattern paper to stay strong with all this water that I'm adding. And here you can see the sparkle and the shine from the yellow dazzlers. I love that. Okay, so now the background is pretty much finished. I'm going to come back in with all those die cut flowers again, and you're going to see how the background looks a lot better once you get everything added on top of it. I think it does anyway. I know some people shy away from the mixed media look, and I love a mixed media look. I love a clean look. This is just what I love to do, and it makes me happy, so that's what I'm doing. Now I want to raise up the photo, so I'm going to add some pop dots to it, and this is going to allow lots of depth from the background in the picture, and it's going to allow me to add lots of things underneath the picture because it's raised up. And when I first printed this picture, I didn't realize that the image of my daughter in the swing was going to fit perfectly in that flower. I mean, her head fits in the little top petal and her knees fit in the bottom. I really didn't even plan that. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to look when I printed it out, but it just was meant to be because she fits in that flower just perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue here to glue all of these petals down, or all of these flowers down. There was no way I was going to try to raise each of those petals up because it would take me forever to slice up some pop dots that skinny to stick under there, so I'm just going to glue those down flat. And I really wanted to use these beautiful, beautiful bright flowers from Basic Gray. And so I want to do some tucking. I didn't want to cover up a lot of the cut file because I love the effect of that, but I did want to add in some of these other flowers because I have a flower theme going on here. And so I'm going to just use a couple of those and layer those in underneath the picture. And I'm just going to play around with those for a bit. And I know some of the other design team members have created some really gorgeous layouts this month using these Basic Gray flowers, and they are just beautiful. I know I've seen one from Adrian and one from Ashley in the last few weeks. Just really, really pretty layouts. Now I'm going to come in with one of my favorite things, and that is tangled thread. And I'm going to use yellow, pink, and that royal blue color. And they're just going to create a little bit more to the messy, chaotic look. And I'm going to tuck each of them kind of underneath the flowers, underneath the photo, so they're kind of looping out of the sides. And I'm going to just kind of go all the way around and add some of this thread. I really, really love the addition of this royal blue color. Usually I'm an aqua fan, and I love aqua, don't get me wrong. Aqua, turquoise, I really love any shade of blue. But this royal blue just really adds a different look to everything, and I was really, really excited to see that included in the papers and in some of the embellishments this month. So I'm going to make sure everything is glued down, all the threads glued down, and all those flowers. And now I'm going to work on my title. And I've been dying to tear into these beautiful stickers. They're not thickers because they're from Pink Fresh Studio, but they're like thickers. They're thick and they're foamy and they are glitter. Silver glitter. Very, very cute. And I'm going to pair them up with these shiny green puffy thickers, and I'm going to change this around. I want my title to be a spring story. Originally it was going to be the story of spring, but I just decided to change it. And this is another case of me not being able to come up with a very creative title. So I just went with something that reminded me of flowers, and that's definitely spring. So a spring story is going to be the title. And I toyed with the idea of going around the flower and curving the title, but it would just be too complicated and it would be confusing to read, I think, and I didn't have a title long enough to go around all those petals. So I just settled for putting it on the left hand side, and I'm very happy with how that turned out. I like the pop of green, and now I'm just going to come in with some embellishments. I'm going to use these Pink Fresh puffy sequin stickers. I love those. They're sequins, but they're sticky, and they're stickers, and they're puffy. You cannot go wrong with that. And I'm using the grass green color ones and then the royal bluish color ones. And I'm just kind of randomly sticking them around the page there. I did add some journaling in the date, and I did some machine stitching around a couple of the layers of the flowers there. And that's the final layout. I had a really fun time getting messy with this one. I love the flower cut file. It's really, really fun. So many things you can do with it. So let me know if you have any questions or about anything that I did or any of these products. Make sure you check out the hipkitclub.net, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.